What's up guys? Real quick before we get started with today's video, I have to say that I've been extremely busy lately. If you want some IRL facts about Count Jinsula, well, I actually work for a religious organization for my day job, and of course that means around Christmas time I'm going to be extremely busy. So I apologize for not uploading as much as I could be, but yeah, we have something I really wanted to talk about in today's video. Of course, a lot of other YouTubers have been talking about it as well, but I really want to give my own 2 cents regarding this topic. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video folks, and let's get right into it. What is happening everyone? It's your boy Count Jinsula. Let's get into today's video. Today I want to talk about PvP, specifically how we could improve this system. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about in this video is going to be very similar to what I talked about in my last video regarding PvP, but I wanted to kind of reiterate a lot of points and see if we could actually be a lot more constructive this time around as opposed to just listing off the problems with PvP. Let's actually talk about how PvP can improve now that it is fully released. With PvP, I do think it is a work in progress. I know I've mentioned this many times in the past. I do think that if you want to look at PvP as it is right now, it is kind of like an early access form of the game mode. Like if you want to look at PvP on what it could be, I think they're still working on it and they're still developing it. So we really don't have a complete look at what PvP could potentially be, but we could talk about it. We could talk about what they could potentially add to the game mode to make it a lot more fun, a lot more competitive, because a lot of players are kind of meh when it comes to PvP. Like recently, Trainer Tips did do a poll on his Twitter account, and overwhelmingly about close to 60% of people said they were not interested in PvP. That is a huge number if you think about it, considering that PvP is kind of like the big staple of what this game is. It's kind of like the last big feature of Pokemon Go. For them to not really hit the ground running with this game mode is a little bit concerning. So I really think they could improve this system and make it something that's a lot more enjoyable for players than it currently is. Of course, PvP is still pretty enjoyable for a lot of players who are able to utilize it to the best of their ability, but I do think that a couple of changes and a couple of philosophy shifts could definitely go a long way for PvP. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, if they want to make PvP successful and improve upon it, well, they gotta fix all of the little bugs that are currently plaguing this game mode. I mean, I don't know if it's intentional, but getting a few ghost hits off while a Pokemon is being switched out with another one, I think this is something that was never intended. This is something that I really hope Niantic changes, because I've definitely won a few matches by utilizing this, and I don't think it's necessarily fair. And if you want a game mode like PvP to flourish, you gotta make sure it is fair, and the best way to make it a lot more fair is to fix a lot of these different issues. There are a whole bunch of bugs that I've run into when it comes to PvP, and they have been mind-numbingly annoying, so I really hope Niantic just tightens the ship a little bit. Again, it is forgivable because, like I said, this is kind of like an early access version of what PvP could be. I really do think they're going to iterate and just improve this system over time, but as it currently is right now, it's not necessarily a tightly run ship. So hopefully Niantic will get on that. Hopefully we'll be able to see some really positive changes in terms of bug fixes. Of course, Niantic hasn't had the best track record when it comes to fixing bugs, but hopefully when it comes to PvP, they will treat it as a really high priority, because PvP is essentially it when it comes to Pokemon Go. Like, really, what else could come to this game aside from future generations? PvP is basically it. So Niantic, if you happen to be watching this, I really think you should focus on fixing bugs along with implementing new systems and new kind of different strategies and different tactics for PvP, but more specifically, I really think you should focus on fixing those bugs. Now, another thing that they could do to improve PvP as it currently is definitely, of course, add different rewards. I think FLW Videos, Famous Last Words, if you watch his videos, he did a really great video talking about Sinnoh Stones and why PvP may not necessarily be reaching its full potential right now. Definitely go and check him out. I'll put a link in the description below. But he talks about how most players are only motivated to do PvP because of Sinnoh Stones. And that is a key thing because rewards will drive players to want to do these game modes. If you look at games like Clash Royale or Hearthstone, a lot of those games have kind of like a slow grinding mechanic to them, but they really kind of push players to play their games every day, to play their matches every day because, well, they're getting a slow amount of rewards, and then they have some nice rewards that you can unlock over time, such as with chests and with packs and different things like that. These are some of the things that Niantic should really look at. Just simply throwing in Stardust and Sinnoh Stones is not enough to motivate players, because as soon as players have all of their Sinnoh evolutions, what is the reason for them to do PvP? I think they should definitely switch it up and add a lot of cool rewards. Charge TMs and fast TMs are definitely high priority for a lot of players right now, and of course the only way to get these right now is through research and raids. Why not have these as rewards for PvP? They're certainly extremely relevant for PvP right now. Why not include them as part of the rewards? And of course you could also tweak the reward distribution a little bit, so you can have something like if you're winning 5 matches in a row against 5 different players, so of course people with alts cannot technically cheat the system, but if you're playing against 5 different players, you know, you could get a really nice reward at the end of that, you know, different things like that, like a hot streak kind of thing, you know, different things they could do to get people motivated to PvP. I'm all for it. And I've been saying this for such a long time, and I've been campaigning for this item to be added to Pokemon Go. A lot of players are for and against this, but I would love to see bottle caps or any kind of way for you to improve your Pokemon's IVs added into the game as well. Of course, IV manipulation and min-maxing are really big parts of PvP right now, especially when it comes to the Great League and the Ultra League. People want to get those exact amount of IVs in order to maximize their Pokemon. So having some way for you to do that, having some sort of control, much like with what they did with TMs, I don't see a problem with that. I really think that we're way past the age of looking for just perfect Pokemon. Now it's all about getting the right Pokemon at the right CP and the right IV. And the best way that players can do that is to have some sort of method to increase or even decrease their Pokemon's IVs. Bottle caps. I am all for bottle caps being added into the game. You want to see players like me do a whole bunch of PvP every day? Implement bottle caps into this game. I guarantee you there will be a huge influx of players doing PvP. Now let's get into the more nitty-gritty parts of PvP that could improve when it comes to the game design, when it comes to the gameplay itself. I do think PvP is in a really good start. It's not necessarily the best gameplay that we could ever hope for when it comes to Pokemon Go, but it is pretty exciting. It does involve a lot of strategy, and overall it is kind of a lot of fun as it is right now, and I really hope that Niantic does build upon this in terms of design. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that they could do to the current PvP system to make it a lot more interesting and to make it a lot more strategic. For example, they could have status effects. I think this is something that a lot of players have been thinking about. Like, it would be really interesting if you could potentially paralyze or make your Pokemon fall asleep so that you could kind of lock them in while you transfer, or I should say switch out a Pokemon, you know, different things like that. Of course, the gameplay is extremely fast-paced. I think on average my PvP matches last under a minute, maybe about 40 seconds. I don't mind that per se, but if you look at games like Clash Royale, I'm going to be comparing this a lot to Clash Royale because when it comes to PvP, I think Clash Royale has the Goldilocks effect with it. It's the perfect balance of great PvP gameplay. I really think Niantic should look at games like that to really fine-tune their system. But in any case, if you look at games like Clash Royale, like, it is about 3 to 4 minutes per match, and I think that is the most ideal for some really intuitive gameplay. Of course, you don't want to sit there and just battle some certain player for more than 5 minutes, but 3 minutes is actually a pretty good mark, and one way that they could do that is to simply slow down the gameplay. Of course, with any kind of PvP match, you could basically knock out a Pokemon with one charge move. I really think they should tweak the numbers so it takes 3 to 4 charge moves. That way you have more time to make a lot of different decisions, and you can make different moveset choices. You could try to build up energy towards one big move, which a lot of players are currently already doing anyway, but it's kind of hard to execute that because, like I said, it takes 1 to 2 charge moves to completely knock out a Pokemon. Really, FedEx truck, you have to come out now? Sorry about that noise. It looks like there's a bunch of trucks that like to drive by when I'm recording. But anyway, yeah, so slowing down the gameplay, I think that is a big step towards making PvP a lot more fun, because as it is right now, I do like the pacing of it. It is pretty fast. It is pretty fun and exciting because of how fast paced it is, but it's kind of mindless to the point where, you know, if you have the leg up on your opponent with charge moves and draining their shields, like, it's basically just way too fast for me. Like 40 seconds is really quick for one match. I would expect for it to be at least about 2 minutes. I mean, come on. So slowing down the gameplay, adding status effects, these are some of the things that they could do design-wise. There are a couple other things that I think would definitely improve PvP. For example, I think having something like assist Pokemon, like if you have like a Togekiss that's on the field, but you could also have like a Togepi or maybe some kind of mythical Pokemon with some kind of healing effect that you could use on the side. That would be really cool. You've seen that a lot with like Pokken Tournament, you know, like I would love to see a lot of things that would add to this game mode that utilize a lot of our unused Pokemon. Like having assist Pokemon is a great idea. Why not have something like that? Again, I understand that they're trying to make PvP really quick and they're trying to make it really precise, but I really think they should broaden it and expand it and slow it down a little bit, because a lot more players have more fun with a little bit more time to think, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know, maybe there could be some other league that you could play, like a tournament league or a global challenge league, where a lot of these mechanics are in place. And with Master League, Ultra League, and Great League, they can leave it as is, as kind of like your fast, quick, skirmish kind of gameplay. But I would love for them to have some kind of super game mode, like Super League or something, where, you know, you could call it like the Elite Four League for all I care. Like basically have a league where you could use 6 Pokemon. It's a lot more slowed down, like there's a big damage buff or damage debuff on everyone, so you know the amount of health that they knock off with charge moves is a lot less. So of course using your shields is a lot more strategic in that case. So I don't know, I really think it just comes down to the numbers. If they could just tweak the gameplay a little bit more to slow it down, I think it could go a long way. So yeah, that's my thoughts regarding PvP. I do think it is a nice work in progress, and I do think that for a lot of players who are being very negative towards PvP, I think you just have to be a little bit patient, because Niantic is going to be continuously working on this game mode. Of course, with game modes that we've had in the past, like raiding and trading, they've been doing some tweaks to those as well over time, so just expect them to continuously add to this game mode and make it a lot more exciting than it currently is. Yes, right now, as it currently is, it's not necessarily fulfilling all of its potential, but give Niantic the benefit of the doubt. I think they've earned it with this year. And speaking of which, I will be trying to upload a end of the year kind of thoughts video really soon here. Again, I've been just really busy with work. I've been really busy with a lot of real life stuff, so hopefully I'll make some time to upload some more videos. Definitely in 2019, I'm going to try to upload and just grow my channel to the best of its ability. So thank you for all of you who are watching my videos, who are subscribed for a long time. Like, I really appreciate you guys. You've definitely helped this channel grow, and I'm just excited to see what I'm able to do in 2019. Just wait and see. So yeah, with loud trucks driving by notwithstanding, that's going to be it for this video, folks. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think about PvP and how they can improve it. And if it's your first time here, make sure you mash that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.